probably know you better than you know yourself. That's my whole ball game all night long.
Jeff Bagwell was a dominant player in the National League for most of his 15-year career. 8 seasons he drove in more than 100 runs. 9 times he hit 31 or more home runs and scored over 100 runs. In 1994, he was unanimously selected as the most valuable player. Despite these and other accomplishments, Bagwell's career was shadowed by controversy because he played during the steroid era. His reputation, justified or not, marred by that juxtaposition of timing. Many felt this issue played a substantial role in his being delayed selection into the Hall of Fame during his first 6 years of eligibility. While conclusive evidence never surfaced that Bagwell used steroids, his reputation seemed to rest with the concept of inductive reasoning expressed by the old phrase, if it looks like a duck, swims like a duck, and quacks like a duck, then it's probably a duck. His election to the Hall in 2017 went a long way toward dissipating the cloud over his reputation. Jeffrey Robert Bagwell was born in Boston, Massachusetts on May 27, 1968. The only child of Robert and Janice Bagwell, baseball entered his life early. His father had pitched at college at Northwestern University and subsequently on a semi-professional basis. Janice, who eventually became a police officer, played softball into her 20s. She later recalled that Jeff could throw a ball before he could walk. When he was 6 months old, we'd throw a ball to him and he would throw it back. Bagwell attended Xavier High School in Middletown, Connecticut. And although playing shortstop for the school, his main sport was soccer. Soccer notwithstanding, he received a baseball scholarship to attend the University of Hartford and came under the tutelage of Coach Bill Dennehy. Dennehy, a former major league pitcher, soon realized Bagwell's potential, converting him into a third baseman that quickly became a team star. When Bagwell performed well for Hartford, he thought major league scouts noticed his playing summer ball. He recalled,
I got my chance in the Cape Cod League. A lot of players from the best programs in summer came to play there. Albert Bell was there. Where was he? Where was Albert Bell?
I was over there. I was over there. Well, I was there. Yeah.
He wasn't over here. I know that much, but he was over there.
Yeah, you get it.
Frank Thomas. I only hit about 205 that year, but I looked at those guys and decided I could play with them.
Next year, he hit over 300, and Boston selected him in the 4th round of the 1989 amateur draft. Assigned to the Class A Winter Haven Red Sox in the Florida State League, he batted .310, exhibiting little of his eventual power, collecting just 2 home runs. His performance still earned him promotion to the New Britain Red Sox Class AA team in the Eastern League. There, Bagwell hit .333 to win the... Oh, dang, man, there's the threes, dude. Oh, shit. To win the batting title and was named the league's MVP. Again, he generated little power with only 4 home runs on the year. Melissa! Triple come, baby! Triple come! As the season ended, word came out of Boston on August 30th, 1990, that the 22-year-old Bagwell had been traded to the Houston Astros for Larry Anderson, a 37-year-old relief pitcher. It was then and still is considered one of the worst trades in baseball history. Red Sox general manager Lou Gorman, who received the bulk of the criticism for this transaction, spent many of his ensuing years explaining his reasons for trading Bagwell. In a tight pennant race as the 1990 season entered its final month, Boston needed bullpen help badly after their best reliever, Jeff Reardon, was lost for several weeks due to surgery. Anderson looked like the best potential available help, but Houston wanted a minor league prospect in return. Bagwell had shown potential at third, but he was at the end of the queue for the position in the Red Sox system. Gorman felt he could fill a yawning hole for Boston to win now without much sacrifice. Years later, Bagwell commented on the trade from his perspective.
The Red Sox were in a pennant race. They needed help. I was third on the chart at third base. They had Wade Boggs. They had Scott Cooper at Pawtucket. You look at that. You look at their situation. They bring in free agents all the time. At the time, I was devastated. I was one of the saddest guys you'll ever see. All my life, everything had been Boston. I was born in Boston. My father was from Watertown. My mother was from Newton, both outside of Boston. Our house was one of those places where you couldn't mention the word Yankees. Every weekend, the television would be tuned to the Red Sox. No other games. My grandmother, Alice Hare, she's 81 years old. She still lives in Newton, and she can tell you anything about the Red Sox. I called her to tell her the news. She started crying. By the way, who calls their grandmother by their full name? My grandmother, Elizabeth Lehman.
She's Alice Hare Newton, as you know. Yeah. Let me ask you this, Jeff. Any members of your family in the Boston police force?
Oh, there's several Boston cops in my family. My mom was a cop. My mom was a Boston cop.
Was she one of the Hares?
One of the Hares, that's right.
Which one? The greasy one, straight one, curly one, short
she's
and curly?
little curly, a little. She's a bit of a split end. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. All right, very good.
She gave me my brains, though. Without what's between my ears, I wouldn't have amounted to much. I'll tell you that right now.
Okay, thank you. Without your brain, you wouldn't have amounted to much. Was that what we got?
Yeah,
say that for all of us, right?
I don't know about that.
I mean, it's kind of what keeps us all going, right? Our brain.
Our heart, I think, is more important than our brain in that regard. You can be brain dead and still alive, right?
Yeah. Well, hey, look, Gabe's heart died for a while, and he came back to life. They cut him from.
That's true, but that guy's brain and his heart, they're both the size of a small town. Of course, that's because he's the size of a big city. So, real fat ass, that guy, from what I understand.
I heard he's going to be hanging out with Dallas Page down in the South if the GoFundMe gets up into six figures.
We can only hope so. He stopped promoting that thing a long time ago. I don't know why. I think people will probably still be giving to him because people seem to like that guy, but I think he's a real piece of trash.
Dally or Gabe?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Anderson pitched well the last month of the season. In 15 games, he posted a 1.23 ERA, helping Boston to secure a division championship. As a free agent during the winter, he eventually signed with the San Diego Padres. Those 15 games do not begin to match against Bagwell's spectacular career with Houston. Although he no longer had to compete against Cooper or Boggs, Bagwell still had to contend with Ken Caminiti. Well entrenched at third for the Astros, Bagwell came to spring training expecting to be assigned to Houston's farm club in Tucson. But his play so impressed the Astros that 2 weeks before the season opener, Houston decided to bring him to the majors as a first baseman. Bagwell went through a crash course learning how to play the position. In the time remaining until opening day, he manned first in minor league games during the morning and for Astros in the afternoon. The Sporting News put it succinctly. Rookie Jeff Bagwell never played first base before this spring, but the position is his to lose. It's up to his bat. Superman is dead. But that put him in a tenuous position because Bagwell started slowly, hitting just 100 early in the season. But when he came up to bat in a tie game against the Braves, his first major league home run won the game. The next day, he homered again. By the end of April, his average had improved to a more respectable 254, and he continued to hit well, finishing the year at 294 with 15 home runs and 82 RBIs, winning the Rookie of the Year award in a romp with 23 of the 24 first place votes. Had to feel good
You,
to get
you,
that romp in, right?
you know how I got there, though, don't you?
How's
I
that?
mean, I mean, look. I talked to you before about what got me through, what really pushed me over the edge as a player was roll tide on that, huh?
All right,
Was
you got
my
some
brain?
saliva falling out?
Huh?
You got some saliva falling out of your mouth. It looked like you.
It's not saliva. It's well, I mean, it used to. I mean, you heard it. You know what a zin is? It's a zin. I got a.
Oh, yeah.
I've got a. It's an addiction. I talk about my brain. I can't really battle past the addiction, though. I got to have the nicotine.
What are you working at HHS?
Oh well, yeah, it's a joke about Robert F. Kennedy Jr., isn't it? Yeah, well,
You're, you're,
you
you
fucking liberals are all alike, aren't you?
you're from fucking Northeast, and really? I
I mean,
never would
come
have
on,
guessed.
look at me.
No, I see it in your face. It's very
Yeah,
clear.
oh, fuck that.
There's a reason you live in Texas still, you dirty son of a bitch.
You look, man. Truth is truth, and clearly from the what's been happening in Minnesota, nobody gives a shit on your side about the truth. They just give a shit about dyeing their hair blue and chanting and fucking getting in the way of big cars and getting surprised when they end up getting shot in the face by a cop for not getting out of the way.
Hey, you know who else loves blue dye? Bobby fucking Kennedy Jr. You fucking bitch.
I
If I looked up filth in the dictionary, I'd see a picture of the lower fourth portion of your face, like your mouth and your chin and all that area, and how it all just comes together. Not that you got a filthy mouth like you talk dirty. It's grotesque.
I got to tell you, like you act like I haven't heard all this bullshit before. I was in Major League Baseball for
Heard it because it's
goddamn
true.
15 years. I don't. You think I didn't hear this in the dugout? People making fun of my fucking acne pockmarks. You fucking loser.
I didn't say a
Uh,
goddamn thing about your acting, you stupid
yeah,
bitch.
yeah. What
I
you're
talked
talking
about your
about,
gross
though?
fucking. No, I'm talking about
I
your
know what
gross
you're talking
mouth
about.
and how
It's
it just
fine.
hangs open like a
Hmm.
fucking porch door in the South.
I mean, clearly you're showing yourself now about how you grew up. You fucking hillbilly.
Okay, yeah, yeah, I'm a hillbilly. You're fucking about to trip over your goddamn bottom lip with Zen hanging out of it. But let's talk about your goddamn power numbers. They surprised baseball observers. I still hate Morandini more. During his two AA minor league seasons, he hit 6 homers in 932 at bats, or one for every 155 at bats. His 15 home runs for Houston came at a rate of one every 36.9 at bats. Bagwell's home run total was all the more impressive for having been amassed in the cavernous Astrodome. He also exhibited unique plate discipline for a rookie, gathering 75 walks, 10th in the league. This contributed to a 387 on base percentage, 5th in the league. Both his power and patience at the plate would improve over the years, each becoming a signature part of his game. Houston finished last in the NL West in 91 at 65 and 97, tying a franchise record for futility. Since winning the division championship in 86, they had descended into consistent mediocrity. In place of such departed luminaries as Jose Cruz, Glenn Davis, and Nolan Ryan, Craig Biggio and Bagwell were coming on board, and they would anchor a team that made the 1990s the most successful decade in Houston's franchise history. While the season had not been successful for Houston, Bagwell immediately sensed a key difference from the minor leagues. Catch that, you fucking fly trap? While the
Uh,
season had not been successful for Houston, he was over there. You heard the typing, right? He was ordering Zen online. Not
Fuck, you see, this is what you don't understand. It wasn't Zin that I was ordering. Look, I've been in a look. No. You know what? We're talking
what?
about baseball tonight.
No, no, please, no, no,
you're not gonna take me down that road. I'm just not
no.
gonna let you do it. I'll tell you what made the greatest impression on me during the whole year. We were in Atlanta when the Braves they clinched the pennant. We'd played them early in the season, and maybe 10,000 people were at the game. And at the end of the season, the place was filled every night. All these people were singing and they were cheering, they were celebrating. It made you think. You play in the major leagues, and it's all individual, really. Um, Everybody's always looking up, trying to figure out where he's gonna go next. In Major League Baseball, the individual didn't matter; winning mattered. I watched the Braves, and everything came into focus with me. This is what I want for us. I remember that day specifically. Um, Tony helped me with that. Tony helped me really narrow down the turning points in my life, and that was one of them.
Talking hitting with Tony Gwynn or something when the Padres
No,
came to
no, no,
town.
no, not Tony Gwynn.
Oh, Tony Danza from Who's the Boss? He played a second baseman for the Cardinals. Did you get to meet him?
No,
Like,
no, no, no. Look,
yeah,
let me
Korea? Not
let me explain
Korea.
this to you.
It would make sense, the filthiness and all.
People ask me all the time, Jeff, how'd you hit 449 home runs? How'd you ground out 15 years in the big leagues? And I tell them, wasn't the batting cage, it wasn't the weight room, wasn't even the pitcher tipping his curveball. It was state. Tony Robbins taught me that performance is a state. It's a result of mindset, physiology, and focus. Let me tell you something. When you step into the batter's box against Randy Johnson, you better have all three locked in. Okay, I didn't just dig into the box. I primed. Okay, I controlled my breathing. I anchored confidence. I told myself this at bat is happening for me, not to me. All right, failure, that's just feedback. Strikeouts, data points. Slumps, a pattern interrupt waiting to happen. Tony taught me that success leaves clues, and I decided to model excellence. I studied pitches, sure, but more importantly, I studied myself, my rituals, my language, my standards. This is why I appreciate the Republican Party as much as I do, is because I study. Like I said earlier, it's what's between my head, what's between my ears that matters here. All right, they won 6 inches. Look,
Fucking
Tony taught
Livingston
me.
around?
What do you say?
Is Livingston around or something?
Well, you tell me, you pervert. I study. Look, because championships aren't won in October. That's the
I,
reason why
I was the
championships are
victim,
not won in October. They're won in the 6 inches between your ears in February.
brother.
All right. I didn't chase batting titles. I raised my personal minimum. All right. And when I retired, I didn't walk away from baseball. I walked toward purpose. All right. It's how you frame everything. You know what I mean? That's what Tony taught me, because once you learn that, you can change your state, you can change your story and your results, and you realize that the Hall of Fame is just realizing your potential. All right. So ask yourself, what's one belief you're holding on to that's costing you your World Series ring, Blake? You tell me that. All right. And that's going to open up your eyes to the truth of the reality that's in front of you. All right. That's going to open you up to the truth that if you fuck with a cop, you're going to get shot.
Mm-hmm. You know what it sounds like to me? This all is basically your friend there, Tony, has figured out a way to come into people's lives and to label and dissect what they do and put titles on it and call it shit and then sell it back to them and reframe it in something else. He doesn't actually do anything. He just gets them to look at the shit they're doing and call it the words he wants to call it.
Let me tell you something right now, and I mean this with love. Okay,
I don't believe that.
most people have no idea why they're losing, and you certainly don't know why you're losing.
What am
You
I
think it's
losing at?
at life. Look at you
Oh,
in that
okay.
dark room in that blue T-shirt. Give me a fucking break.
That's a
They
black
think it's
t-shirt
they
actually.
think it's looks blue to me.
Fucking loser.
You think it's talent. You think you got luck. You think it's the ump, right? No, it's because you're soft and you're undecided and you're running garbage beliefs like a bunch of you're like a fucking emotional little leaguer. And that's why I found Tony Robbins. That's why he showed up in my life. He looked me dead in the eye and he said, "Jeff, you don't have a swing problem. You got a standards problem." And he was right. That's what you got, Blake. You got a
Uh-huh.
standards problem.
Right. Sure. You got to
So
practice this problem, dipshit.
so you know what? I'm going to ignore it. I'm not going to listen to the bullshit.
Look,
It,
you telling me you're so goddamn strong that you had to go find Tony Robbins? Is that what you're expecting me to believe, Mr. Bagwell?
look, before Tony, I was talented.
Uh-huh.
Make no mistake.
Right.
After Tony,
Yeah.
relentless. Do you see
Uh-huh.
the difference? You see, talented is one word,
Yeah.
relentless is another.
Yeah. Is that
Every
Tony's
at
word?
bat,
How much did it
every at
cost you to
bat,
learn that one?
every at bat wasn't just baseball. Fuck you. Every
Mm-hmm.
at bat wasn't just baseball. It was a psychological war.
Sure.
And I'm built different.
Right.
Okay, yeah,
So,
I can go to psychological war at every at bat. I don't think you could do that, but I bet you Tony could teach you how. Anyway,
you know what's a psychological war for me?
what's that?
Every morning, the shit I take when I first get up. That's a psychological war. Okay? So don't tell me
It
about
sounds like you need to go see some kind of specialist, in my estimation.
psychologist or butt.
The butt. I mean, if it's a psychological war to take a dump in the morning, you got something wrong with you.
Maybe yes, maybe no.
And while other guys, they're out there whining like you about travel schedules and bad hops and
It's all the
just
animal crackers in the middle of the
like
night.
like a bunch of excuse manufacturing crybabies. I was out there
You can't tolerate it.
programming. I was programming my nervous system for certainty. Do you understand me? You
No,
understand
no,
that?
it's ridiculous.
Does that make sense? Does that make sense to you?
Programming
Why
your
doesn't
nervous system.
Why
That's
doesn't that make sense
bullshit.
to you? Everything is training, bro. That's all it is.
Ugh.
That's what Tony
It's
teaches. I'm gonna send you.
exhausting. What
Look,
an
man.
exhausting way to live. It's not even worthwhile way to live.
Who's got a Hall of Fame ring and who doesn't? That's what I'm
So
exactly.
so
You're sitting there.
uncomfortable.
You're sitting there on your ass, not working no more because you don't know how to be relentless. That's your
S-
problem.
Perhaps I was too relentless.
Out of work, cunt.
Yeah, it's hard to argue that. It's been the greatest 2 weeks of my fucking life. You can suck my ass, you bitch. Oh, let's see here. Bagwell successfully avoided the sophomore jinx in 92, playing in all 162 scheduled games. His home run total increased to 18, while his average dipped to 273. A careful review of his performance indicated a more disciplined hitter. Strikeouts decreased from 116 to 97, and walks increased to 84, seventh in the league. Part of
Psychological. All psychological.
you can make anything psychological. Your entire existence can be psychologically just fucking traumatic if you wanted it.
Well, sure you can. Of course you can make anything you want psychological. The question is, why don't you?
Why would you?
Success.
Eh?
You can beat anything with your brain.
Maybe success in one area, but probably does something to you. Are you familiar with the yin and the yang?
Do you not understand what I just said? I said in every area.
No, I don't understand much
You're
of what
saying
your
that
mush
it's
mouth
not
says.
life isn't like a
Where's,
teeter totter.
where's Fat Albert at?
Hey,
He
hey,
coming along?
hey! Shut
Yeah.
your fucking mouth.
Where's your
I
little
don't deal
pink?
with the blacks. I thought you knew that.
Oh, brother. Hey, dude, who's this guy? I kind of like the cut of his jib, dude. Jib is Jeff Bagwell. Oh, cool. Num- uh, somebody's somebody's taking a shot for that last spot in the accountability crib. It's going to be a lot easier to get that one because he's only got one leg, Numerous.
Hey, let me explain
Hey,
something to you.
oh,
I don't
please.
need I don't need I don't need your mouth. I don't need you making jokes about Marcus's issues. Uh, he's my second cousin on my father's side. I don't need I don't need this kind of. It's just stop right now. You can make jokes about me all you want. You can talk about my acne pockmarks. You can talk about me chewing on Zyn. I don't care. You don't talk about a man who's been through what Marcus has been through.
Did you ever go to Sprayberry to see him?
It's pronounced Sprayberry, and I don't think so. No,
I, he was a three-time WCW Rookie of the Year from '91 and '94. Did you know that?
that doesn't make any sense at all. I think you're just making things up.
Take it up with Jim Ross.
I don't know who that is.
Big Dick in Oklahoma. Fell down, was stuck for 5 days. Credence went to help him.
It was
New-
5 hours at 5 days.
Whatever. He could live for 5 years with all that fat. Well, maybe not anymore.
Slipped on an ice cube making Kool-Aid.
What kind of flavor? He was making like lemonade flavor. Just that's it.
I don't know. I like that blue raspberry lemonade. That electric lemonade is what they call it, I think. Mm-hmm.
They just call it blue raspberry. I made some last week.
That was Jan's. That was Jan's favorite too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she took me as a purple Source Rex lady. Numerous unusual batting styles pepper baseball's history. Mel Ott lifting his right leg, a foot in the bucket stance as he began his swing, or Stan Musial's peeking around the corner approach come distinctly to mind. Bagwell's was equally unique. It has been described as a crouching tiger, hidden dragon batting stance, or more indelicately, like he is sitting on the john.
Hey, look, it worked for me, and uh, I worked on that stance for a long time after uh, after Tony walked me through what I needed to do, the work that I needed to put in, right? Much like our friends in in Alcoholics Anonymous Fellowship will tell you, it's about the step work. It's about working. You understand? So
Mm-hmm.
uh, that's what I did. I put in the work, and I found my anchor, and it was in that stance. If you watch basketball, you see the guys when they go to the free throw line, they do the same thing over and over and over again, right? That's how they get into a routine. And for me, it was about crouching the way that I did. I know it looks like I'm taking a dump. Ha ha ha! Got it. You think I didn't hear it all before? You know, uh, one time, fucking Pudge was back there behind me, and he said, "Hey, friend, make sure you don't eat your own shit while you're down there." And I that made me mad at the time. That was before I knew
Mm-hmm.
Tony, and it was before I was using the thought process that goes into to making these things work. And and having that anchor. You know, before Tony, I was a mess, and after him, I was relentless. Instead, that it just comes back to Tony Robbins and the beautiful things that he does for people.
Hmm.
Where focus goes, energy flows. Just remember that.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Your energy's gonna go towards what you're looking at,
Yeah.
thinking
Hey, do
about.
you see they
I got
changed up
it.
the food pyramid to be the right
All
way?
it's all very logical.
Yeah.
That's what I love. I love when people just say logical things in different ways and try to reframe it over and over, but everything's really like the same 10 or 12 things, maybe. Anyway, he stood in the batter's box with his legs spread wider than his shoulders in an exaggerated crouch, with his bottom hand over the knob of the bat. He lifted his left foot a few inches and unleashed a forceful uppercut swing. That wide stance keeps him from overstriding, Joe Torre observed, which can be your biggest problem when you're trying to hit for power. Despite his odd stance, Bagwell still hit with authority, and as unorthodox as his stance appeared, it served another purpose, minimizing Bagwell's strike zone, a factor in his ability to coax a walk. His unique stance caused Bagwell repeated injuries 3 consecutive seasons beginning in 1993. That year, he began to come into his own. Batting .320 with 20 home runs and 88 RBIs in mid September, Bagwell broke his hand on a pitch from the Phil's Ben Rivera. His next 2 seasons ended prematurely for the exact same reason. An examination of his swing indicated Bagwell's hands dipped into the strike zone, making them vulnerable to injury. After his third broken hand in 1995, he began wearing a protective pad over his batting glove. While the season ended early for Bagwell, it marks Houston's steady improvement. After having finished last in 1991, the Astros progressed to fourth in 92 and third in 93. Bagwell, as well as players like Craig Biggio, Cam Miniti, and Luis Gonzalez, were improving. Pitcher Darrell Kyle blossomed in 1993, going 15-8. In the strike shortened 94 season, both Bagwell and the Astros improved markedly. In just 400 at bats, Bagwell scored 104 runs and drove in a league leading 116. He hit .368, second behind Tony Gwynn's .394. But what really caught everyone's breath was his .750 slugging percentage. At the time, it ranked seventh highest all time in a season, second best in the NL, just behind Rogers Hornsby's .756 in 1925. On June 24th, he hit 3 home runs in a game against the Dodgers, 2 coming in the 6th inning. Indeed, between May 16th and July 24th, Bagwell hit 2 or more home runs in a game 5 times.
Crazy stuff happened that year. Every pitch I got, every pitch I was looking for, I got, and when I got it, I didn't miss it. It was ridiculous, and I blame. Well, I guess I should say I credit Tony with all of that. Look, when I went out with the broken hand, uh, there was nobody there for me. Nobody, you know. And then when I broke my hand again, how many people were there for me that time? Nobody. But the third time, I had found Tony. And Tony, he was there for me. Let me go somewhere most athletes are too embarrassed to go. And frankly, they're too emotionally constipated to go where I'm about to go. So why don't you just sit back, enjoy yourself for a moment with that Bucky's pillow, you fruit, and I'll tell you exactly how Tony was there for me. I broke my hand, career moment, season on the
Sexually?
line. So what do you say?
Sexually?
Career moment, season on the line. Suddenly, the body you trained for your whole life, unavailable, not there for you. Most guys, they'd spiral, they'd sulk, they'd find a way to escape, right? They turned into bitter little goblins like you, blaming fate and trainers and the universe. Not me, because I called Tony, and Tony said, "Jeff, If you can't control your circumstances, you damn well better control your state. Now, listen carefully, because some of you're already giggling like children, I know. But Tony taught me that self connection, visualization, and intentional release of stress are not weaknesses, they're maintenance. When my hand was broken and my routine was wrecked, Tony helped me reframe recovery as ownership, not deprivation. He said, if you don't meet your own needs consciously, you'll sabotage yourself unconsciously. And suddenly it clicked. While other guys were pacing the clubhouse like angry raccoons, I was learning how to regulate frustration, channel energy, keep confidence in check, and stay mentally sharp without spiraling into shame or distraction. Was it awkward? Yeah. Was it necessary? Absolutely, because champions don't pretend they're machines. They manage the human system. Tony taught me that guilt is poison, repression is weakness, and discipline means choosing intention over impulse. So, while some clown wants to laugh and act like self care is soft, understand this. Tony Robbins offered up his gigantic hands and he jerked me off once a day when I broke my hand. And that's what allowed me to come back focused, centered, and grounded. Not desperate, not distracted, not lacking confidence. And if that makes you uncomfortable, good. I'm glad to hear it. Growth isn't supposed to feel polite. It's real strength. Real strength is pretending that you don't have urges. Isn't pretending that you don't have urges or emotions or stress. Real strength is handling them like an adult, and instead of letting them handle you. If that rattles your worldview, Blake, I understand. Maybe the injury isn't physical, it's probably between your ears.
I have an injury because Tony Robbins jerks you off. Is that what you're telling me? I mean, it sounds to me like you're just
All I hear is
justifying.
judgment. All I hear is judgment. Who's got
No,
the
no,
Hall of Fame ring? And who's got the fucking Buggies pillow around his neck?
yeah, no, it's very comfortable. I bet you
I
wish
bet
you
it
had one.
is. You know what else is comfortable?
Your bum
This
ass shoulder.
this 4-inch long goatee.
Yeah,
That's what's comfortable.
yeah. You know what else? I can throw a goddamn baseball and you can't.
I can. I just can't throw it too far these days.
You can't throw a baseball over 35 miles an hour. You pussy. What did Tony say about that? Let me tell you something, Jeff. You going on and on and on about Tony and everything about Tony and what Tony taught you to think and do, it isn't as fucking making you sound as stand on your own ish as you would like. You sound very dependent on Tony. I mean, Mr. Tony Robbins, especially to release. You did say intentional release, and that's where I initially thought you were going to go. The guy's jerking you off. This is all just cover for gayness, man.
Let me guess. You heard one quote,
Just be
rolled your
gay.
eyes, and went right back to doing the same dumb things to keep you exactly where you are. It's fine. I understand. You see, I noticed something about you
The fuck are
and
you
about people
talking
who
about?
call Tony Robbins nonsense. They're always the same people. Zero standards, zero discipline, maximum opinions. See,
Motherfucker.
your
Uh-huh. Yeah.
problem
Uh-huh.
is that you confuse cynicism with intelligence. You think mocking a belief is the same thing as having one.
No,
You
that's
know what real
stupid.
gobbledygook is? Blaming the ump, blaming your boss,
Mm-hmm.
blaming your childhood, blaming the system while you refuse to change your habits. That's the problem. That's not skepticism. That's intellectual laziness dressed up like confidence, is what that is.
I don't think I ever suggested that anybody shouldn't work on solving the issues in their life.
No, what you're saying is that Tony isn't worth a damn. And frankly, that's what Tony's all about. That's what Tony taught me. So, yeah, in a roundabout
Uh-huh.
way, you are saying those things. And here's the part that really pisses people off. The tools that Tony gives work if you work them.
Yeah,
All
he
right.
worked your tool. Got it. It sounds to me like Tony is about getting your money and your comes.
If you want results without rituals, you want confidence without conditioning, success without discomfort, that's fine. Don't do the reps. You know, sit on the sidelines. You go ahead and throw your rocks.
Uh-huh.
Call it nonsense because it's safer than admitting that you've never really fully committed to anything in your life. It's
You
fine.
just like reading a bunch of old No Fear t-shirts or something?
Let me make this very clear for you.
Please.
If mine if mine said, I'm looking at your face and it's hard for me not to laugh
Sure.
out loud
I
because
get it.
you know, if mindset doesn't matter, then why do great players survive pressure and average ones crumble? If language doesn't matter, why do some guys talk themselves into slumps and never get out? If standards don't matter, why do champions look different before the game even starts? You're talking about Tony and saying that he doesn't have it figured out. It doesn't make you smart. It makes you untrained. Because the truth is, anyone can mock intensity from the cheap seats, but the people actually performing, they're too busy winning to argue with you.
Like 90% of this shit you've said, I haven't argued with or even brought up. The only thing I have said is
Oh, keep laughing, keep
Tony.
scoffing, keep telling yourself that it's nonsense. That's fine. That's fine. Just don't confuse your comfort with my results. Because while you're busy making jokes,
I would never do that.
I was busy doing the work that makes jokes unnecessary.
Thanks, Cody. Thanks for doing the work. Jesus Christ.
Whoa!
Uh, Lost amidst Bagwell's hitting exploits was his receiving the NL Gold Glove at first base, a testament to his well-rounded abilities. Unfortunately, the 1994 season ended when the players went on strike in mid-August due to acrimonious disputes with team owners over several issues. Houston trailed Cincinnati by half a game when the strike took effect. Whether the Astros could have continued to hold their own in the race was problematic, though, because the day before the strike commenced, Bagwell was hit by a pitch from San Diego's Andy Benes that broke the fourth metacarpal on his left hand, the same bone he broke a year earlier. He couldn't believe it had happened to him 2 years in a row after x rays confirmed he would be out several weeks, essentially until the end of the season. But a day later, the season ended anyway. Paradoxically, the timing of the strike benefited Bagwell in ways unforeseen at the time. Despite the truncated season, players were still selected to receive individual awards. The BBWAA unanimously chose Bagwell as the National League's MVP. He was only the 11th player and fourth National Leaguer to win every writer's first place votes.
It was very flattering, to uh, to get the kind of recognition from a BBW that I give to a BBW. It made me feel really really good.
Everybody loves a good plumper. Strong conjecture had it that if the season had continued with Bagwell sidelined, the award might have gone elsewhere. Matt Williams of the San Francisco Giants, who finished second in the MVP voting, had 43 home runs when the strike started and on pace to hit over 60. With the Giants in the thick of the pennant race, he could have very well supplanted Bagwell in the voting. Bagwell did win the award, however, the first and only Astro through 2014 to do so. Despite a spectacular year, however, Bagwell's achievement is always less lustrous because it happened in the strike-shortened season. Once play resumed in 95, Houston was expected to continue as they had in 94. Bagwell and Biggio began dominating the Astros offense, and within a year they gained the nickname the Killer Bees. Over the years, the other Bs, Derek Bell, Carlos Beltran, and Lance Berkman came to prominence, but Bagwell and Biggio remained constants. The team performed well. On July 30th, they were just 3.5 games behind the Reds when Bagwell was hit on his left hand by San Diego's Brian Williams, taking him out of the lineup for several weeks.
I was getting an X-ray, and it was moving. I was moving it pretty good. I thought, okay, it's probably going to be okay. That's the same thing I said last year, and that's the same result. I don't know whether to change my stance. I've taken all the precautions. Tony at the time told me, regardless of how many times this happened, he was going to be there in my corner taking care of me however I needed to be taken care of, because that's just the kind of guy he is, So it can be
Hard man.
frustrating. It can be frustrating. This is the 5th time I broke my hand, the same hand, you know. I
Almost like you deserved it.
You go through. That's not, that's just it, man. You're a nasty guy, aren't you? You're a real nasty human being.
Nasty as we want to be, baby.
I don't even know what the hell that's supposed to mean. A weird voice, and you got loud for no reason. I don't know.
You're going to Pity City? I'll make some omelets.
You break your hand 5 times in the same place, and you start to wonder, how many times do you got to do? Does this have to happen before you got to make changes? But
yeah. Did you ask Tony? How many times? How many times did he say? What did he say?
As many times as it takes.
Oh, okay, good. What a great fucking piece of advice.
But we talked about it. We talked about it a lot, but and we kind of just blew by. I got the MVP and
blew by. I read what was written.
Got to have sex with 2 or 3 really big fat women, which is fantastic. But I could never get the leverage that I needed because my hand was hurting as bad as it was hurting.
Sure.
But we didn't really talk about the strike itself. Everybody wants to talk about the 94 strike like it was fate, like it just happened to baseball. But no, it wasn't fate. It was a failure of leadership and a failure of identity and a failure of standards. Again, we're back to it. Like everything revolves around this, and that's what people don't. People don't stop down to think about what reality is. Tony taught me this: when people fight over resources, it's because they've forgotten the mission. In 94, nobody was fighting for the game of baseball. They was fighting for position and ego and control. You got all these owners, operating from scarcity, and players were operating from mistrust. And both sides were just too busy posturing to ask the only question that mattered: what outcome do we really want here? You had billionaires acting like victims and millionaires acting like prisoners. And that's not negotiations. That's just 2 groups of scared people arguing over identity instead of values. Tony says if you don't define the rules of engagement, emotion's going to do it for you. And in 94, emotion ran the damn table. Anger, pride, and the fans, the lifeblood of the thing, they were the ones treated like collateral damage instead of partners in the whole thing. Let me tell you something that makes people uncomfortable, Blake.
Please.
You ready to get uncomfortable? The strike wasn't about money. It was about certainty.
No, okay.
Owners wanted cost certainty and players wanted career certainty. And instead of building a future, they burned the present. That season, we had momentum, we had new stars, we had energy. Things were going to happen that season. I was going to be out for the rest of the season with a broken hand, but it wasn't about me. I got a I got a sweet award for the thing. If it hadn't been broken up, that human thumb Matt Williams in San Francisco probably would have won the thing. But it was you don't get what you deserve, you get what you tolerate. Tony taught me that too.
Well, we all I think that's what we all do, isn't it? Just we do whatever we think's gonna make things work out best for us. We want to know what the conditions are going to be for ourselves to be consistent, to be safe, to feel secure, right?
I mean, if you say so.
Yeah, I do. I do. It is my show. Do you have a show, Jeff? Or do you
I
just
played
guest
MLB.
on
I
other
played
people?
MLB. I played MLB the Show
Yeah,
on my PlayStation 4 up until 2023, but I stopped playing it because I broke my hand.
that's good. That's good. All right. Bagwell proved persistent. The team. Oh, no. Let's see
Prescient.
here. No, I missed the part about that. From then on, a special pad protected Bagwell's batting glove, and he never suffered the injury again. Bagwell proved prescient as the team had gone 9-21 in his absence and was 13 and a half games behind the Reds, well out of the race. He had started the season slowly, hitting just 183 at the end of May, but in the next 2 months he had improved to 283 and was on a batting spree. Batting spree, that's nice. Bagwell finished at 290 with 21 home runs. Is that fucking dog eating Chex Mix or something?
Yeah, I
Smoking a
gave him
cigarette?
something. I gave him something to munch on because he was starting to whine, and I can't deal with it, and
Yeah.
I don't want to stop recording.
Well, no, you just let him record into the microphone and fucking whine.
Okay.
Better than listen to Bagwell's fucking dumb bitch ass. A fall off. Let's see. He had started the season slowly, hitting just 183 at the end of May, but the next 2 months improved at batting spree. There it is. Bagwell finished at 290 with 21 homers, a fall off from 94, but he would more than make up for it the next several seasons as his and the Astros' potential came to full fruition. Bagwell undertook a rigorous training program after the 1995 season. He gained 20 pounds and enhanced his endurance for the rigors of the grueling seasons by a concentrated period of weightlifting, change of diet, plus the use of creatine and androstenedione. And years
You know what?
later,
I'm going to have to stop you right there.
okay,
Now,
please.
look, you say things out loud as if I'm not right here listening to you, and it's a
Read the
problem for me.
fucking article.
First of all, dumb. You calling me a dumb bitch ass? First of all, dumb. That's it's pretty rich coming from somebody whose entire strategy is yelling names like a malfunctioning parrot. Listen closely. Calling me a bitch ass isn't
Mhm.
confidence, right? It's what insecurity sounds like when it runs out of vocabulary. You understand what I'm saying? You understand that? This is where Tony Robbins comes in because Tony taught me that when people go straight to insults, it means they've
Mhm.
lost the argument with themselves.
Did
So you
he?
really
Did
need to
he?
do some work. You need
Did
to look
he?
internally.
No, I need to look at the screen and I can fucking know exactly what it says.
See, strong people.
I was gonna ask you, did Tony teach you this, or is this what you just read?
I don't know what you're talking about. See, strong people challenge ideas.
Look at me.
Weak people,
Look
weak
me.
people,
Look me in the
weak,
eye.
weak.
Yeah, you can't read when you look me in the eye, can you?
Weak people attack identity.
Sure. Great.
You didn't question my work. You didn't question my results. You just barked because barking feels powerful when
No,
you got nothing. When you got nothing else.
because your work and your
Let,
results are
let
fine.
me
You're a
make this.
bitch.
Let me
That's the
make this
deal.
very. Let me make this very
No,
clear to
I
you.
have no issues with
I
your
didn't.
homers.
I didn't get where I got by needing your approval.
No,
All right.
definitely not.
I didn't survive pressure by shrinking when somebody ran their mouth like
Mm-hmm.
Pudge. And I sure as hell don't take feedback from someone who confuses volume with value. All right. Tony says never lower your standards. Never lower your standards to meet somebody else's comfort. So I won't come down to your level. I'll just tell you to yell up at the scoreboard. If you got something intelligent to say it. If you got a point, make it. But if all you got is name calling, understand this. It's not dominance, it's exposure. And indecent exposure at that. You don't go near Tony if you're going to whip out your cock.
Yeah,
Because
because
the
he'll jerk you off.
loudest, he's got really big hands too. Loudest people in the room are usually the ones terrified of being ignored. So keep talking. I'll keep doing. And at the end of the day,
Yeah.
one of us has results, the other has insults. Sitting on your ass in your McMansion in Kansas. It's fine, doing nothing.
You keep reading the list of your fucking sayings off of your screen, you dipshit.
Choose which one you want to be known for. That's all I'm saying. Choose which one you want to be known for.
Well, I'll pick one of the 50. In later years, those entering the Astros gym were welcomed by a banner reading, Bagwell's Gym. Work hard, play hard, or leave. A testament to his intense work ethic. It's pretty impressive when you watch a guy like him, observed Jeff Blum, a later teammate. He knows what he has to do, and he puts his mind to it, and he does it. While successful in the short term, Bagwell later came to feel his regimen shortened his career, that his muscular buildup contributed greatly to shoulder problems, forcing his retirement in 2005 at age 37. By the start of 96, Bagwell was one of the senior members on the Astros, if not by age, then by tenure. He had become a forceful influence on how Houston prepared for games, with maximum effort and players held accountable for their actions. Discipline fostered camaraderie, and Bagwell made sure everyone on the team was part of the team. His and Biggio's leadership propelled the Astros to new levels of play.
I swear to God, if we can get through one of these articles without having to stop down and talk about the shit level of writing ability, it would be fantastic. I know we're just talking about baseball here, but Jesus Christ, Bagwell made sure everyone on the team was a part of the team.
Tony says that's up to you. What are your expectations?
I don't have expectations anymore.
Good.
You know why? They only lead to disappointment.
Tony says. Oh.
Nope. Vernon says.
Double V, baby. Let's see. The 96 season began a run of performances further that established Bagwell's reputation as one of the most dominant players of his era. That year, he batted .315, hit 31 homers, drove in 120 runs, and led the league with 48 doubles. It was the first of 6 consecutive seasons where Bagwell scored and drove in at least 100 runs, averaging 128 runs scored and 126 RBIs per year during this stretch. Some of the numbers he put up were spectacular. In 99, Bagwell drew 149 walks, including a major league record 6 in one game. At the time, the third highest single season total in the National League. Twice that year, he hit 3 home runs in one game. The following year, he launched a career high 47 homers and scored 152 runs, fourth highest in the NL since 1900. Bagwell had become a complete ball player. In 1997, he stole 31 bases and hit 43 homers. In 99, he stole 32 bases, or stole 30 bases and hit 42 homers. One of only 13 major league players to have accomplished 30 home runs and steals in a season more than once. Bagwell and Joe Carter remain the only first basemen to reach the 30-30 club through 2014. While Bagwell was at the peak of his career, Houston took division titles in 97, 98, 99, and 01. The best run in franchise history. Of 13 games played in the 4 postseason series, however, Houston managed but a single 5-4 victory over San Diego in 1998. Unfortunately, in the other 3 series, Houston confronted the Atlanta Braves in their buzzsaw starting rotation of Tom Glavine, Greg Maddux, and John Smoltz. Bagwell's performance in these series was equally dismal, just 174 with no extra base hits and just 4 RBIs. In 2002 and 2003, both Bagwell and his team declined. Houston finished second both years but failed to make postseason competition. Bagwell's run of 100 RBI seasons ended with 98 in 02. He achieved an even 100 RBIs in 2003, but his peak year production had waned. His slugging averages dipped into the low 500s, well below what had become the customary for him. Still a strong hitter, at 35 years old, he no longer dominated as he once had. Beginning in 2001, pain began flaring in his left shoulder. He underwent surgery in the offseason to extract bone spurs and restore a torn labrum. Eventually, he developed arthritis in the other shoulder, an affliction that worsened over time. By 2004, his career entered the twilight. Bagwell's average fell to 266 with, quote, only 27 home runs and 89 RBIs. His defense suffered too. The first baseman could whip a ball to third on butts, eventually got to the point where he had trouble merely throwing to infielders between innings. Ironically, he had the best postseason of his career in a 7-game series with St. Louis that St. Louis ultimately won. Bagwell hit .318 with 2 home runs, the second helping break open the 5th game. As the 2005 season began, Bagwell played through April until the pain in his right shoulder became intolerable. On May 4th, after going 0 for 5 in a loss to Pittsburgh, he was hitting just .250 with only 3 home runs and 88 at-bats. The next day, he asked Astros manager Phil Garner to be pulled from the lineup.
I couldn't hit. I couldn't throw. If I played, I'd just be hurting the team.
By September, following shoulder surgery, he was well enough to join an Astros team contending for a wild card spot in the standings. Playing exclusively as a pinch hitter, he drove in his last major league run on a groundout against the Cubs, providing an insurance run and a critical 3-1 win. For Houston's win that day, and the next allowed them to finish 1 game ahead of the Phillies for the wild card position. The Astros finally beat their longtime nemesis Atlanta Braves to win the division series, then defeated the Cardinals to win the NL pennant. I actually went to, I think it was game 5 in Houston, I believe, or no, 4. One of the 2005 NLCS games.
Oh, nice.
Jeff Kent
I would have
game-winning homer.
I would have killed to go to Game 4 of the World Series in Houston.
New Hall of Famer Jeff Kent hit the homer to win the ball game.
That's Astros. Right, folks. Hall of Famer Jeff Kent,
along Jesus with Andrew Jones and who was the other one?
Doesn't matter.
Carlos Beltran.
Oh, great, wonderful.
Let's see here. Beat the Cardinals to win the pennant, but the White Sox swept them in 4 straight games in the World Series. Bagwell went 1 for 8 as a DH and pinch hitter, just one of many Astros stymied by Chicago's pitching in a closely played series. Bagwell's ground out as a pinch hitter in the 4th game proved his last major league appearance. Bagwell went to spring training in 2006 if he could still contribute on the field, but legal issues, specifically who was going to pay Bagwell's estimated $15.6 million salary for the year, muted Houston's welcome. The situation was awkward. The Astros had obtained a disability insurance policy on Bagwell when he had signed a multi-year contract in 2001. And at this point, the team essentially had to prove that Bagwell became disabled between the end of 2005 and January 31st, 2006, when the policy expired. So Bagwell's appearance in camp threw Houston's claim that he was disabled into question. Amid the legal maneuvering, it was revealed that a physical examination of Bagwell in January 2006 concluded he could only throw a ball 35 miles per hour, and then only for short distances. Based on that assessment, the attending physician declared Bagwell totally disabled.
Look, you don't need to throw a ball to hit a ball. That's all. I can DH. It's not a big deal.
They didn't have the DH back then. You know.
Detail,
Sure. Yeah. Bagwell appeared.
details don't matter.
Mhm.
Tony taught me that.
That just sounds like bad advice. Bagwell appeared in a few practice games, but had to quit several when his shoulder became too sore to continue. He was hitting just 219, but the major obstacle to continued play remained his arm. He simply could not throw a ball to meet major league standards. The chances of additional surgery succeeding were minimal. The conclusion was obvious. Bagwell had given it all to come back.
You got to do everything you can to try and play. If not, you'll be kicking yourself.
Houston placed him on the DL, and Bagwell recognized the reality.
I may never play again.
He was right. A few months after the 2006 season ended, he officially retired from the game.
It's been a great ride. I wish I could still play and try to win a World Series here in Houston, but I'm not physically able to do that anymore, and I'm okay with that.
Bagwell's lifetime stats are impressive. A 297 batting average, 449 homers, 1,529 RBIs, 79.64, and 948 OPS. But there was more to Bagwell than robust numbers. He was a role model in the clubhouse, a consummate professional who, along with Biggio, set the bar for how an Astro approached the game. Houston's best years remain the heart of the Killer Bee years, during which he and the Astros won 4 of 6 division championships, the finest years of the franchise. The Astros wanted Bagwell to stay connected with the organization, so signed him to a personal services contract through 2009, mostly to spend time working in player development. Bagwell's post-playing career has been largely low-key and private, although he has intermittent assignments with the team. Bagwell's aversion to travel and devotion to his family have been his guiding principles. He
I don't
did.
know why you're looking up at me like you want some kind of commentary on why I'm devoted to my family. This is the kind of bullshit the liberals always pull. You know, if a conservative says that he cares about his family, it's like, well, what is that supposed to mean?
Well, don't we
Why
all
do you
care
got to
about our
focus on your
family?
family? I don't think so. Clearly, you don't.
Why? How's that?
I don't know. It's late at night and you're talking about baseball in your basement. Like, what kind of loser?
I'm talking to you.
Yeah, but I'm here, but I'm not here, am I? Yeah, I didn't think so.
I'm here, but I'm not here too.
I don't believe you. I can see you.
I'm the walrus.
Cuckoo choo, bitch.
He did not totally avoid the limelight, however. On June 28, 2007, his longtime teammate and friend Craig Biggio singled against the Colorado Rockies to get his 3,000th hit. Biggio's family joined him on the field, and he insisted Bagwell come out to be with him as well. It was Bagwell's first appearance before Houston's fans since he retired. A few months later, Houston retired as number 5 before Bagwell, his family, and more than 42,000 onlookers. In mid-season 2010, the Astros asked Bagwell to become their batting coach. Last in hitting, the team hoped his expertise and rapport with the players could improve their output. Their hitting did improve over what remained of the season, but Bagwell, citing family obligations, turned down a proffered 2-year contract to continue the job.
Look, my decision there came down to the times that these coaches put in, the effort they put in, uh, my family, and Tony's advice.
He returned to his personal services agreement, occasionally spending time at the club, usually in spring training, helping younger players. In 2011, Bagwell became eligible for induction into the Hall of Fame. More than anything else, this has kept his name in the media and before fans over the years. The first year he was eligible, he received 41.7% of the writers' votes for induction. Every year since, he consistently received over 50% of the vote, with a high of 59.6 in the 2013 election. Whether he deserved an induction was a controversial subject over the years. Several factors delayed his induction. On a few occasions, most recently in 2015, he was up against a crowded field of worthy candidates, which tended to concentrate votes on the first time eligible players. A second, more serious consideration is Bagwell's career peaked in the late 1990s, coinciding with what has become known as baseball's steroid era. One of the major side effects of this period was to cast a pall of suspicion over virtually all its players, including high performers like Bagwell. Several aspects of Bagwell's career prompted questions about steroid use. Ken Caminiti, one of his teammates and close friends on the Astros, publicly admitted he took steroids during his career, a fact dramatically underscored when he died of a drug overdose at the age of 41, just 3 years after retiring from the game. For Bagwell, it suggested guilt by association.
Well, I got to explain something to you. You know, like
Please.
I went through all of this time with not getting into the hall when I probably should have gotten in. You know, and everybody was saying, "Oh, it's because everybody else was using steroids, and you know, it was the time period, and everybody thinks that maybe you were using steroids too." I mean, of course, I was using steroids. I just wasn't abusing them. You know, there's a big difference between use and abuse. Ken was abusing the steroids. I was using them as they were recommended to be used.
Thank you for clearing that up.
Eh.
His physical growth led to further conjecture. The slim 185-pound minor league third baseman grew to 220 at the peak of his career. Creation of a bodybuilder.
That's 35 pounds. Who fucking cares? Like, it's 35 pounds. What are you talking about?
I mean, 35.
That's like a bender on McDonald's over the weekend. Gabe can put down 35 pounds of double cheeseburgers in a day and a half. I don't know what the problem is.
I mean, you're already grown.
What?
You're already grown. It's not like you're growing. Like you're already a grown man, and then you put on 35 pounds. 35
Did
pounds.
you not listen to what I just said? It's easy to put on 35 pounds.
Not 35 pounds of muscle.
Who said it was muscle?
It was clearly muscle. You could look at you and see that.
Oh. All right. Well, good point.
Mm-hmm. Creation of bodybuilder's physique and its subsequent reduction in size as a career waned. You got smaller as you got older. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, I got. You know, I stopped eating cheeseburgers. I don't know what to tell you.
Sure, yeah.
But I'm telling you right now, I used. Yeah.
Man, my cheeseburger's coming in.
Nobody even stopped at. What the hell's going on now? Who's this hillbilly? What's that?
I said, "Oh man, my cheeseburgers come in a needle and syringe too, dude. Dang." Creation of a bodybuilder's physique and its subsequent reduction in size as the career waned was typical of players found to have used steroids, and another factor fueling the speculation about Bagwell's career. These perceptions seemed relevant because of the curve of that career. He started out with just 6 home runs in 2 minor league seasons and averaged fewer than 20 per year during his first 3 years in the majors. At the top of his game, he had successive seasons of 31, 43, 34, 42, 47, and 39 home runs. Bagwell surged almost simultaneously with Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa, 2 sluggers whose drug use subsequently sullied their career reputations. Their and their others' accomplishments generated questions about the proliferation of home runs hit during this period. It became a centerpiece of suspicion that something might be amiss. These sorts of associative considerations fueled speculation that Bagwell used steroids or PEDs. He was never linked to the use of drugs, however, either through the drug testing policy, various investigations, or legal actions. Bagwell consistently denied employing drugs or steroids on numerous occasions, but he has come to believe that whatever he says will not matter. In a 2009 interview, Bagwell observed that his is a no-win situation.
I know what I did. I just told you what I did. I know how hard I worked. If someone thinks I took crap because I was in that era, what am I going to do? Show them I didn't? Can't go back and take a blood test now.
Bruce Jenkins, senior sports editor of the San Francisco Chronicle acknowledges that while steroid suspicion was a factor for several voters, there's another point of consideration. I certainly can't speak for the bulk of National Baseball writers, but I know that many suspicious of Bagwell, without proof, as you say, I have always voted for the best players Bonds, McGuire, Clemens, etc. So that's not a factor for me. I always found Bagwell just a bit short of Hall of Fame material. Heck of a player. I don't mean to knock him, just my personal opinion. And I do know that some other writers feel that same way as well.
Let me tell you something. Uh, Terrible attitude and questionable choice in mentors aside, Jeff Bagwell is a Hall of Fame baseball player, and this is like they got the perfect fucking writer to, to get a quote from here because this is just who they are. I don't think I've told this story on the podcast, but you'll remind me if I have. I got a buddy who was the sports editor for like a local newspaper back home, and he what about 10 years ago, the year that Ken Griffey Jr. was to go into the Hall of Fame, I messaged him the day before and I was like, hey, like what are the chances that this is unanimous? And he replied back to me, 0%. There are some of these guys that just won't ever let that happen.
Mm-hmm.
And if Ken Griffey Jr. is going to get people who say, no, you don't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame on a first ballot, like, for another 15 or 20 years, it's still going to be that way. I mean, I think there's only been two now, but it's happened. But to think that, like, and Ichiro is a great baseball player, certainly, but to think that he had zero uh, writers saying, like, he had 100% of the vote, and Ken Griffey Jr. and Derek Jeter didn't is a little nuts to me.
It's just new generation of riders. There are going to be more people at 100%.
The new generation.
It's that's it. Ichiro and Rivera.
Yeah.
Before that, the highest was Tom Seaver. So fuck
I like
fine.
Bob Seger.
Tom Seaver was really good, but like the only reason he was so goddamn high was because he was such a fucking just ass kissing stooge. Like he's a fucking goon, and so the media fucking loved him. He always talked to him. So that's you combine that with again, obviously really fucking great, but is Tom Seaver really the guy that's going to have the highest percentage of vote in the Hall of Fame up until Rivera gets it? Like, that's absurd. Anyway, let's see here. Because of the controversy over drugs, Bagwell increasingly showed ambivalence about getting into the Hall because even if elected, it would be an empty accomplishment. Such a victim. Induction into the Hall is not what defines him.
I keep telling people this, and people don't understand it. Baseball does not define me as a person. It's what I do with my kids and as a husband that's going to define me. It'd be an honor, don't get me wrong, but I've got other things to do in my life too.
Amid the discussions, Bagwell went on with his life. Twice divorced. He remarried in August 2014. He and his wife Rachel have 5 children in their blended family. He lives in the Houston area and occasionally works with the Astros, most recently spending several days with them in the spring of 2015 as a special instructor.
Can I tell you my favorite thing about my wife, Rachel?
Her tits?
Nah, not at all. She's got these really gigantic hands.
Oh, fuck. It's like Tony. Just when it seemed Bagwell would stay in Hall of Fame Netherworld, a change took place in how players were selected for induction. A rules change in voter eligibility seemed to generate greater support for his induction. Beginning with balloting in 2016, voters were required to have 10 years of continuous membership in the Baseball Writers Association of America, as well as be active members or been active members in the association in the 10 years prior to the balloting. This had a practical effect on removing more than 100 voters from the process, many of whose careers paralleled the steroids era. The elimination of this block of voters seemed to signal a more tolerant perspective of players from that time frame. See, there you go. Because
Yeah, that explains it, right?
Rivera comes shortly after this. It was reflected in a change of voter patterns. Mike Piazza, thrice denied introduction, was selected with the 2016 vote. Players suspected of steroid use, such as Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, and Curt Schilling, saw their support increase. Curt Schilling also because he's just an overall asshole.
Yeah, he's a real piece of shit, that Curt Schilling.
Bagwell received 71.6% of the vote, missing election by 15 out of the 440 votes counted. That trend continued for many of these players in 2017, most dramatically for Bagwell, who was selected for induction, receiving more than 82% of the votes, higher than anyone else on the ballot. He was formally inducted into the Hall of Fame on July 30th, 2017, surrounded by family, friends, and teammates. Most prominent of these was Craig Biggio. While Bagwell's credentials were questioned for years, there was never any question how his teammates viewed him. Astros pitcher Mike Hampton once called Bagwell the ultimate teammate. In an interview, Bagwell and Biggio let it be known there was a Astros way of doing things. The Bagwell-Biggio way was the way to man accountability, starting with themselves. Bagwell was particularly quick to deflect credit for his success, explaining, "That's my job," and too readily to accept blame, often for his failures that weren't even his. His ability to connect with teammates knew no barriers, racial or otherwise.
That's interesting, isn't it? That's an interesting thing to throw in there, unprompted. Just so you know, he wasn't a racist either.
By the way, he ain't racist. This description, echoed by many more outside than any outside voting process, reflected the highest compliment a player can receive. It speaks well of a one-time skinny Red Sox prospect who indeed had a great ride. But he ain't no racist.
Well, no, I'm not a racist. I don't,
For the record.
Just because I don't like the blacks, it doesn't mean I'm racist about them. Like there's a big difference. Most of them are liberals, and I am done with professional complainers. Just done. Okay?
I mean, Sirius, Alistair, Bud, all the blacks.
They wake up every morning already pissed off like you, already offended like you, already armed with 1,000 reasons why the world owes them something like you. And somehow we're still shocked when nothing changes. You bitch and you whine and you moralize and you point fingers like it's an Olympic sport. And the entire time you do absolutely nothing. No reps, no discipline, no ownership, just a nonstop loop of excuses wrapped in self-righteous bullshit. That's when I found Tony Robbins. All right. And Tony, he didn't pat me on the head. He didn't validate my feelings. He grabbed me by the collar, metaphorically, and said, "Stop outsourcing your power." And that pissed people off because when someone shows you that you're capable, it exposes how long you've been hiding. So most people, they don't want the truth. They want comfort like you. They want to complain loudly enough that responsibility leaves them alone. But here's the real bomb, and I'm not going to dress this up nice. I don't just respect Tony. I don't just admire him. I am attracted to that energy, the certainty,
I believe
the presence, the absolute refusal to coddle weakness, those incredible hazel eyes. I am drawn to someone who walks into a room and raises the temperature, who looks at chaos and says, "Good, let's work." that kind of clarity, that kind of conviction, yeah, it hits something deep. There's no question. It hits real deep if you understand my meaning. So while the complainers are still arguing about whose fault everything is, I'm over here fired up by someone who taught me to take control of my mind, my standards, my life, and then he took control of my clock. Call it weird, call it intense, call it whatever helps you sleep. But don't forget, don't confuse your endless outrage with virtue, and don't mistake my passion for apology, because I'm not sorry I chose strength. I'm not sorry I chose accountability. I'm sure as hell not sorry that I chose Tony.
Yeah, I see why you need that subscription.
Yeah, it's pretty good, isn't it? Jesus Christ. Jeff Bagwell on the whole ball game, everybody.
One of the worst guests we've ever had.
And that says a whole hell of a lot, doesn't it?
God, Tony Robbins sucks so much.
Yeah, so, we'll talk about the hows and the whys on some behind the scenes episode somewhere. I'll share that with you later, though.
Well, I'm gonna go share my PP.
That sounds good. I'll just pause it here because I'll do the same. We're back. Say what you want about Elon. At least his AI is a little less censored than ChatGPT.
I mean, does make porn, doesn't it?
Does it? I've never tried.
They say. I don't know.
One day, maybe we'll just convert the Patreon to that. We'll get really good at prompts and just convert the Patreon over to just AI generated porn that you and I put together and see if we can make more money that way. Bet we can.
Probably, definitely with the comes.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I did. I just flat out asked it, like, can you suck my dick one time just to be, facetious is the word, I guess. And it told me how it couldn't do any kind of whatever. But now it said something the other day about being spicy or I don't know, whatever. But there's no way Elon doesn't let it get into some kind of weird sex stuff where.
Oh, I'm certain he jerks off to it regularly.
I bet there's stuff where you can make like your own, like Kelly Kapowski porn if you wanted.
Oh, Kelly. I think we've talked about this on the show before. She's hotter now than she's ever been. Jesus Christ.
Well, yeah, I mean, she still pretty much looks the same.
Yeah, pretty much. Next up, it's I guess he certainly isn't our kisser because Jeff Bagwell's got the face.
Nah, you don't think Kevin's got a face? Bagwell's the MVP. Of course, Kevin's the kisser.
Yeah, but Kevin Mitchell kind of looks like Tony Gwynn.
Nah, see, you're looking at the wrong face. I know.
Okay, let me hold on. We looking at Red's era then?
Yeah, we got to get more like East San Francisco, Cincinnati era. I'm gonna send this to you. This is the face.
Oh, the braces? Dear God in heaven.
The gold tooth. There, look at that. That's what I'm talking about. The gold tooth is very important, actually, because I said to myself, coming off the success of Reverend Brown, his prime time, and
sure,
and Joey Buttafuoco over here as Albert Joey Bell, I said, who do I get to play that man? And who could do it justice? And the first thing that popped in my mind was, well, it's got to be another man with a gold tooth. So I went out and dipped into the funds. And please welcome to the whole ball game, the baddest man on the planet. It's me, Gabe. It's Iron Mike Tyson. I'm gonna rape your children.
That's Sure, I understand. Whatever you want, sir.
I'm gonna eat your face too, but I'm glad. I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
It's good. I'm glad you are here. My goodness, Kevin Mitchell as played by Iron Mike Tyson. Let's
I used to
let's get
watch
into it.
Bruno Sammartino.
I'm glad to hear it. You a big wrestling fan, Mike?
I love Mr. Fuji.
Were you a big fan of Demolition?
Professor Toru Tanaka.
Mm-hmm.
No, I was watching back in the 70s, man.
Oh, okay. So you like Mr. Fuji when he was
The
wrestling.
Wild Samoans, Alpha and Sika,
Mm-hmm.
Tony Gurria,
How do you feel about Iron Mike Sharp?
Pete Doherty. He's from Canada.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Game 6 of the 1986 World Series between the Boston Red Sox and the New York Mets will forever be a part of baseball lore. Many fans will say no matter how many games you may attend, there is always something bound to happen that you may have never seen before. This was certainly true October 25th, 1986 at Shea Stadium in Queens, New York. Boston led the series 3-2, as Game 6 was played to a 3-3 tie through 9 innings. Boston's Roger Clemens struck out 8 and gave up 2 runs, 1 earned, through 7 innings. Although Clemens was not in line for the win, things looked mighty bright for the Red Sox as Dave Henderson hit a leadoff homer in the top of the 10th inning to give Boston a 4-3 advantage. A second run scored on a double by Wade Boggs and a single by Marty Barrett. It had been 68 years since Boston celebrated a World Series championship, and with the Mets down to their final out in the bottom of the 10th, the waiting might finally be over. But, as we know, Gary Carter singled, and rookie Kevin Mitchell stepped to the plate, pinch hitting for pitcher Rick Aguilera.
I was just telling myself that I can't make the last out of the World Series.
And he didn't. He singled to center field, sending Carter to second base.
My grandparents are at home with Customato. They must have been doing a lot of praying.
Red Sox pitcher Calvin Schiraldi, who had relieved Clemens in the 8th inning, wished he could have that pitch back that he threw to Mitchell. "Yeah, one was a mistake," said Schiraldi. "I hung a slider." Ray Knight followed with a single to center field. Carter scored, and Mitchell checked in at third base. Bob Stanley relieved Schiraldi for Boston.
Buddy was telling me he was going to throw a wild pitch, and he did. Gedman blocked it where I couldn't see the ball. Nobody told me nothing, or I couldn't hear it because of the crowd. I just saw the ball squeeze past him. I didn't think I was going to make it at first. I was getting ready to go into a head first slide the 3-4 steps from the plate when I saw the ball slow down.
Mitchell's run tied the game 5-5. Knight went to second base on the wild pitch, setting the stage for Mookie Wilson's dramatic ground ball to God pass Boston first baseman Bill Buckner. Knight scored the winning run to force a Game 7, which the Mets won.
The key to the game was Mitch's base running,
said Mets Keith Hernandez.
"It is Keith Hernandez, the guys, Gabe. Hello, my friend. You know my name."
It's been such a long time, Keith.
"Yes, we are wonderful. I'll get back. This is not my show, not like me to grandstand with my mustache." He went to third base on that soft hit and scored on the pass ball. Mitch set up the inning.
Mitchell reached back in his memory bank to get the hit off Schiraldi.
I looked at him and we smiled. We were teammates in '83. He told me if he ever pitched to me, he'd try to bust me in and then throw a slider away. And that's what he did.
Kevin Darnell Mitchell, the co-hero of Game 6, was born to Mr. and Mrs. Earl Mitchell on January 13th, 1962 in San Diego. When he was 2, his parents separated and he was raised by his grandmother, Josie Whitfield. He grew up in a rough neighborhood in San Diego, often running with the wrong crowd, and he was involved with gangs. Kevin attended Claremont High School, and although he favored football and boxing, Grandma Josie steered him to baseball. She took him to Little League games, and even when he established himself as a major leaguer, she offered him batting tips.
My grandmother convinced me to go with the safest sport just to get away from San Diego.
A friend took Mitchell to New York Mets sponsored baseball tryouts in San Diego in 1980. He hit 2 home runs off Bud Black, then a left-hander pitching in the Seattle farm system. Mitchell's hitting ability impressed the scouts, and the Mets signed him to a $600 a month contract as an undrafted free agent. Mitchell ascended through the Mets minor league chain, starting with Kingsport of the Appalachian League in 1981 and Lynchburg of the Class A Carolina League in 1982. He hit well, .335 and .318 respectively, while playing mostly at third base, but also in the outfield. Mitchell was promoted to Jackson of the AA Texas League in 1983. On the field, he performed well. .299, 15 home runs, 85 RBIs. Off the field, Mitchell had his troubles. He got in a fight in Shreveport restaurant. He complained of being singled out because he was black.
Once we were playing the Cardinals farm team in Arkansas, and the people in the stands were throwing watermelon at me from the stands. They talked on how the Klan would be coming to get me that night in my hotel room. I have to admit it got to me. It upset my game. I'd never been in a situation like that before. I was never scared because I was always ready to fight.
Fighting was a part of Mitchell's surroundings in San Diego. It was synonymous with gangs and the violence in the neighborhood. The reality hit hard for him in 1984. While he was across the country playing for AAA Tidewater, his stepbrother Donald was shot to death in a section of San Diego known as Little Africa. Mitchell's instinct was to leave the club and return home, but teammates Herm Winningham and Clint Hurdle talked him out of it. The distractions may have caused his fall off in offensive numbers, but still he was called up to the Mets at roster expansion time and made his major league debut September 4th, 1984, as a pinch hitter in a home game against St. Louis. He batted against Bob Forsch and flied out. Mitchell returned to Tidewater for the 1985 campaign. Although his hitting improved from the previous season, he did not get a call-up. However, Mitchell broke camp with the Mets in 1986. Manager Davey Johnson played the rookie at 6 positions in the field, all but pitcher, catcher, and second base. Even in a part-time role and being moved all over the diamond, the right-handed batting Mitchell hit .277 and belted 12 home runs. His defense, especially at shortstop, was a bit shaky. I've always felt that it wasn't a total liability to have an average fielder at short who could hit, said Mets manager Davey Johnson. Go with the best offense you can put out there and then go with defense later. Never made much sense to me to start your best defensive team, get behind, and then have to pinch hit. After finishing in second place in the National League East division in 1984 and 1985, New York claimed the division title in 86. It was the Mets' first return to the postseason since 1973. In a tightly played league championship series, the Mets defeated the Houston Astros in 6 games. Mitchell started 2 of the games in the outfield and went 2 for 8. He started 2 games in the World Series against the Red Sox and also went 2 for 8. After the season, Mitchell was traded to his hometown San Diego team as part of an 8-player deal. What could have been a nice homecoming was instead a struggle for Mitchell. He was installed as the starting third baseman for the Padres, replacing Greg Nettles. But Mitchell felt the pressures of playing at home, nor did he favor playing for Padres manager Larry Boa. Excuse me. Sorry, Adam. The pressures of playing at home, nor did he favor playing for Padres manager Larry Boa, who drove his players hard, was a perfectionist, and could be quite manic at times. On July 5th, 1987, Mitchell was on the move again, this time to division rival San Francisco in a 7-player deal.
It was good for me to get traded again. I had a lot of pressure on me to hit home runs in San Diego because they lost McReynolds, and under Boa, you couldn't make a mistake without him hollering at you. He put a lot of pressure on a lot of young players.
Right off the bat, Mitchell made a contribution to his new team, stroking a pair of two-run home runs against the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field in a 7-5 Giants victory. Mitchell settled in at third base and batted .306, clubbed 15 home runs, and had 44 RBIs for the Giants, who captured the NL West crown, but lost to St. Louis in 7 games in the NLCS. Mitchell was 8 for 30 with a homer and 2 RBIs. In 1988, the Giants added center fielder Brett Butler to inject some speed and comedy into their lineup, and Matt Williams came up from AAA to play third base, moving Mitchell to the outfield. With Will Clark, noted asshole, at first base, the Giants had a solid nucleus for a good offensive club. Early in the 1989 season, Mitchell made a defensive play that has drawn huzzas over the years. In a late April game at St. Louis's Busch Stadium, the Cardinals' Ozzie Smith sent a fly ball to left field. Mitchell gave chase as the ball was headed to foul territory, and just as he crossed the foul line, Mitchell realized that he had overrun the baseball, reached up with his bare right hand to make the catch on the dead run. It was an extraordinary play, but accurately displayed his athletic ability. Both Mitchell and the Giants had a banner season. Mitchell was voted the NL Most Valuable Player by both the Baseball Writers Association of America, the Sporting News, after leading the league in home runs with 47, RBIs with 125, and slugging percentage 635. He was the National League starting left fielder in the All-Star game. Excuse me. The Sporting News also named Mitchell to its Major League and NL All-Star teams and to the NL Silver Slugger team. I've never seen a power hitter stay in a groove so long, black or otherwise, said Will Clark. Mitch just crushed the ball from the start and made it a lot easier for all of us. He was outstanding. Never hit me what I was
He never hit me what I was doing. The ball looked as big as a grapefruit. I was going to the plate with a lot of confidence. I really didn't think the pitches could get me out.
The Giants edged out San Diego by 3 games to win the division again. Mitchell stayed hot, batting .353 with 2 home runs and 7 RBIs in the league championship series, in which the Giants toppled the Cubs in 5 games. The Giants met up with their neighbors from across the bay, the Oakland Athletics, in the World Series and were swept in the earthquake-interrupted series by rather lopsided scores. Mitchell avoided a salary arbitration and was rewarded handsomely when he signed a contract for $2,083,000 for the 1990 season. It was a raise of $1,423,000, the largest in Major League history at the time for a 1-year contract. Mitchell delivered, smacking 35 home runs in 1990, driving in 93 runs and batting .290, all outstanding figures considering that he was dealing with bone chips in his right wrist. He was named to the All-Star team again. Before the season was over, Mitchell signed his second contract of the calendar year, a 4-year, $15 million pact. He became one of the 4 highest paid Major League Baseball players. But Mitchell, hampered by his wrist and knee injuries, played in only 113 games in 1991. He still hit 27 homers, and from 1989 to 1991, no player hit as many home runs as he did with 109. However, problems were arising off the field during these banner seasons. In 1989, Mitchell missed a flight to Chicago during the league championship series and missed a World Series workout. He was constantly late for workouts on game days during the regular season. In 1991, Mitchell left tickets to a game for a friend from San Diego, but the man didn't make the game because he was arrested in connection with the slaying of a San Diego police officer. After the 1991 season, Mitchell was accused of raping an old girlfriend, but the charges were dropped when the woman failed to cooperate with the prosecution. Shortly after the rape accusation was made, Mitchell was again traded to Seattle in a 5-player deal. Giants general manager Al Rosen had had enough of Mitchell. Rosen was frank. He reminds me of Richie Allen in a way, or Bobby Bonds. There are certain guys who just aren't cornerstone players to a franchise. They move around constantly, getting traded for players with considerably less talent. Seattle is the 4th club that has had Mitchell, and I'm sure we'll see more before his career is over. The Mariners were adding Mitchell to a lineup that included Jay Buhner, Tino Martinez, Edgar Martinez, Harold Reynolds, and Ken Griffey Jr. General Manager Woody Woodward and manager Bill Plummer were enthusiastic about Mitchell. Said Woodward, "Oh, I know this man comes to play. He wants to play. He's a gamer." Plummer said, "There's an opportunity to fill that 4 spot with a quality hitter. There's not many opportunities to get a guy like Kevin Mitchell." But a season of promise and predictions of a 50 home run season in the Kingdome for Mitchell quickly turned sour. In the first 2 months of the season, he hit 2 home runs and had 20 RBIs. He continued to battle a right wrist injury, was 25 to 30 pounds overweight, and was placed on the disabled list when he injured a muscle in his stomach while vomiting. The Mariners finished in last place in the American League West Division. In what has become an annual event, after the season, Mitchell was dealt straight up to Cincinnati for relief pitcher Norm Charlton. So tell me here, Kevin,
He must have had some bad chili dogs, Gabe.
what do you think happened? Why did the wheels fall off of Kevin Mitchell in Seattle?
Probably all the seafood. You ever catch a fish?
One of our prime goals in the offseason was to acquire a batter we thought could hit 4th in our lineup with the potential to hit 30 homers and drive in 100 runs, said Cincinnati GM Jim Bowden. Doesn't matter to me that Kevin was traded a lot. The important thing is that he's a first-class individual. We did a lot of research into his makeup, and we were satisfied. He uses a nice foundation, and his mascara cannot be beat. The Reds were hoping that being back in the National League would be good karma for Mitchell, and Mitchell played well. In June, he had his longest hitting streak, 20 games, batting .421 with 5 homers and 16 RBIs, but a sore left shoulder and a broken bone in his left foot shut Mitchell down from late August to the end of the season. He bounced back in 94 to lead the team with 30 home runs and drive in 77, but the season ended prematurely on August 12th when the players went on strike. The strike wiped out the playoffs and the World Series. Unsure of the future, Mitchell signed to play for the Fukuoka Dai Hawks in Japan in 1995. His reputation for being a malcontent followed him to Japan. A capsule view of Mitchell in a Japanese baseball magazine stated that though Mitchell was a superstar in the U.S. major leagues, he would not be a suitable role model. The article projected Mitchell as a rude person whose behavior was reprehensible. My assumption here is that Sadaharu O had something to do with this.
Oh, no.
On April 1st, 1995, the season opener.
That's great shit, you guys. God damn it. I'm laughing my ass off here. Fuck me. Sitting here, sucking your other papa's cock. Just laughing at you boys. So proud of you.
On April 1st, 1995, the season opener, that image of the slugger was forgotten. The Hawks loaded the bases in the first inning. Mitchell came to the plate and was facing Taigen Kaku of the Seibu Lions. Mitchell smashed a 1-0 slider from Kaku into the left field bleachers for a grand slam in his first at bat. He was the first player to accomplish the feat in Japanese baseball history. But after only 130 at bats, Mitchell left the team over a disagreement about a knee injury. The team doctors advised that he should still be able to play with minor ligament tears in his right knee, but Mitchell left Japan to seek a second opinion without asking permission from the ball club, which suspended him. Back in the United States, it was discovered that Mitchell had cartilage damage, and he had surgery in August. Mitchell signed with Boston for 1996, batted .304 in 27 games with a pair of homers and 13 RBIs, but was traded to Cincinnati in midseason. For the Reds, he hit .325 in 37 games with 6 homers and 26 RBIs. He signed with Cleveland in 1997, but batted only .153 over 20 games and was released. He signed with Oakland in 1998 and was released as well after 51 games and a .228 batting average. The most games Mitchell played in any of those seasons was 64. After the release by Oakland, Mitchell, 36 years old, retired from Major League Baseball. He had hit 234 home runs, driven in 760, and batted .284. In retirement, trouble seemed to find Mitchell. Idle hands, as they say. In August 1999, he was arrested for assaulting his father, Earl, whom he was evicting from a rental home he owned. In August 1999, he was arrested for assaulting his father, Earl, whom he was evicting from a rental home he owned.
Do you think they just?
You see,
Do you think they just got done watching Road Wild '99? Hogan and Nash in the retirement match.
You see, Earl had been a cocaine addict and dealer. He pawned Mitchell's 1986 World Series championship ring for drug money.
That's right.
Eventually, Mitchell was instrumental in getting Earl into rehab. In 2000, while managing the Sonoma County Crushers of the Independent Western League, Mitchell was suspended 9 games for assaulting the owner of an opposing team. In 2002, he was suspended 7 games for punching the Solano Steelheads' third base coach for allegedly stealing signs. Shortly after his retirement as a player, Mitchell had been diagnosed with diabetes. He lost almost 40 pounds in 3 weeks, and as of 2015, had the disease under control. Living in his native San Diego, he worked with children, mentoring and offering advice to them under the auspices of Athletes for Education, a nonprofit organization. Most people would agree that Mitchell was a solid offensive baseball player and fundamentally sound defensively. It was often said that with his natural ability, he might not take batting practice or stretch or read a scouting report. The first pitch he saw at bat in a game was the first one he saw all day. It's all up here, Mitchell would say.
It's all up here.
Mm-hmm.
It's all up here, Gabe.
Mitchell would say, tapping the side of his head. I miss one day and I feel like I don't have any timing or rhythm, said Reds teammate Hal Morris. He misses a bunch of days and loses nothing. It's amazing to see a guy do that. On July 22nd, 1994, at Wrigley Field, Mitchell demonstrated his ability. As he sat at his locker, there was a scouting report on Chicago starting pitcher Mike Morgan.
Get this out of here. I know how Morgan pitches me.
With 2 men on in the first inning, Mitchell sent a ball deep into the bleachers. The only question was whether it was going to go into Lake Michigan, quipped Morgan.
Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth, Gabe. I'm going to punch you in the fucking face, and then I'm going to rape you.
Wait, me or Jeff?
No, I'm going to rape both of you, actually.
That sounds good.
And then I'm going to make you rape each other.
Oh, good. Good.
While Don King watches from hell.
I was going to say, is Don dead?
We lost Don. Yeah, I don't know.
Did we lose him too soon?
I've been getting high with Ric Flair a lot. I don't know what's going on in reality. We get high and do cameos, you know.
Yeah.
Fuck your mom.
Checking to see if Kevin Mitchell's been in the news again lately, but it doesn't appear that that's the case. Although I did see, this has got nothing to do with this whatsoever, but our buddy Lenny Dykstra got in trouble on New Year's. Did you see this?
What, did he get caught in a produce cooler at a fucking Checkers?
Nope.
Getting
DUI.
jerked
New
off
Year's
by
Day.
Tony Robbins. Oh yeah.
Yep.
That's got to be even more damaging because there's zero chance in hell that man has a driver's license. So, like, it's probably suspended at least a decade ago, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And to get a DUI while having no license is not good, no matter where you're at. So, Nails might have just got the final nail there.
Well, we've covered.
I'm still gonna fuck the whores in prison, man.
I sure hope so. We've covered Houston. We've covered Cincinnati. Our kisser, our superstar. Now all that's left is to watch the whole ball game. So where are we headed for it, Blake?
Beautiful Riverfront Stadium baseball night in America, July 25, 1994.
17 days left in the season.
Will the owners and the players get a deal done?
Who knows? Find out next time right here on
It's the whole ball game.